Get to the root of trauma, sponsored by Parent Enhancement Program. It is that messy middle that we seem to store in our subconscious and we don't want to let it go. But it's that mess that is holding us hostage. So, we are a podcast that is very vulnerable. We share our experiences. We are vulnerable and we tell our stories. We also have guest speakers that are willing to share their experience with you. Please don't be afraid to follow. Don't be afraid to share, because the more we share, the more we are heard. Get to the root of trauma. Hello, hello. Oh my goodness, it's me again. Me and Carolina with Get to the Root of Trauma. I have a repeat guest. She loved it so much last time, and I love to hear her speak that I invited her back. Her name is Rima. But before we get to the title of her catchy subject, is I'm going to tell you, if you have any questions or comments and you want to contact Carolina or I, you can get in touch with us at www.parentenhancementprogram.com/contact. A lot of questions are coming in about, triggers and sibling rivalry. But this topic today, you're going to want to hear. Okay, so you're going to want to wait to hear the whole thing before you start giving me your comments. So, Rima is going to talk about mean girl, get out of here. Like, you know what? I would say the word, but we're recording. So it's mean girl, get out. So look at that. Rima, take it over.
Hey, Jules, thanks so much for you and Carolina for sharing the space to explore this powerful topic. This is mamas and self-care. This is heavy, but yeah, it's a refreshing topic to delve into. So I just want to say thank goodness that we are finally addressing looking after mums in today's busy, chaotic, demanding world. We so commonly hear like, oh, I really need to find some time this weekend for some of my own self-care so I can fill my cup, so I can be available for my kids in a calm and loving way. Honestly, I don't want to lose my temper again with them. So I was just reflecting back to my childhood. My mom was a super duper rock. She worked outside the house, inside the house, offered friendly help within our community. And I never witnessed her self-care routine or heard her express her desire for such. The only thing I ever saw that resembled anything like that was her personal moment with her daily cup of tea. So perhaps that was her self-care cup filler. She was a loving mom. She went to all ends of the world to provide for our home. And as it's normal for all of us moms, she couldn't always be lovingly present for us because of fatigue, stress, everyday life, all those common mama triggers that set us off. So, on to my motherhood, raising my two kids. Well, I was just doing what I saw as a child. We copy our parents, um, especially what they do more so than what they say, right? So, self care didn't feature for me until many years into my parenting journey. I was a stay at home mom for many years. And that was an intentional choice my husband and I had decided on when we started our family. As an early intervention specialist, I know how important the first 3 years of life are for a child's development. And I wanted to be an integral part of that for both my kids. So my life revolved around nurturing my home and my children, especially since we moved countries multiple times when they were young. As we settled, school days settled in, my kids had their routine, and so did I. I wanted to make this the best life for my kids and my husband. But at that time, nobody told me to invest in my own self care. But I guess I naturally allowed it to happen because I would meet other moms for like a coffee, for a chat, really honestly, for a connect with another human being. I started to walk and even run again, which is something I used to do before I had
Wow.
the kids. So little by little, I started to develop the awareness that I needed to get back into, serving my own needs by engaging in activities that I enjoyed. That's self-care, right? Getting a
Right.
massage, reading a book, playing the piano, getting out in nature, meeting a true friend to talk about anything and everything. And of course, the self-care routine looks different for everyone, right? Then
Right.
over time, this thought crossed my mind. Hey, isn't mama self care the same as giving ourselves permission to play, but on our terms? Taking the
I
time to
love that.
stress, to be joyful in this space of our own, to learn and grow, whether you're doing it alone or with another creature. That's play, right?
Right.
So like years of this self-care filling my own cup kept me going, kept me, trying to be calm and kind with my children. But I would still lose my patience in moments. And you know what? Compassion would just fly out the window. And you know what that results in, Jules? All those
Yes.
feelings of sadness, hurt, guilt, shame, blame, confusion, you can go ahead and name the rest. But it was really the turn happened for me when I started my journey in conscious parenting because it brought a new dimension to self care, and that is self compassion.
I
I real
love that word. I
Yeah,
love
me too. I realize that this deeper aspect of self care is integral for creating and maintaining long term healthy relationships that don't actually need that continuous external resourced cup refilling to feel joyful in our lifelong parenting. It's this aspect of self care that requires conscious work. It requires a real dedication if we want healthy relationships with our kids and we want the same for them with their kids. So I
right.
admit that work is not easy. And it actually initially it didn't come very naturally for me because I didn't grow up with it, nor was I exposed to it until my peaceful parenting journey began. So I just want to note here this is the power of the work of a parent coach, where we motivate, we inspire, we offer expert guidance to do this inner work. So often I'm coaching moms, helping them get rid of that mean girl inside of them. That mean girl, those thoughts, that internal voice that judges, blames, and shames us by making up totally false stories about ourselves to justify our parenting mistakes, to keep us safe. Actually, it keeps us from changing and growing for the betterment of ourselves and our families. We conscious parenting coaches, like you and me, Jules, and Carolina, and all those other great coaches in the program, we help mamas understand how to offer themselves compassion so they can parent authentically, naturally, imperfectly. So our kids also develop compassion by modeling us. What do we teach our kids if they see us not take care of our own needs and treat ourselves unkindly by not addressing those needs? One
Right.
day they'll do the same and they'll be hard on themselves as caregivers.
And it goes round and round and round and round. I mean, the circle never ends. And so I'm listening to what you're saying and I'm loving it. I'm loving the fact that you are concentrating on us. We need, because there's times where I sit at this computer helping others. And next thing you know, I did not eat lunch. I did not eat breakfast. And I'm like wondering why my stomach is starving. And so, if you are listening to Rima right now and you're connecting with her and you feel what she is talking about, I'm going to tell you that you need to breathe. You need to unclench your hands. You need to focus on the word on the road, of course, but you need to breathe and you need to feel the energy flow through your body because once it flows through your body, it connects with all your systems in your body and your body can finally take that breath. Because if we don't breathe, we're lost. Go ahead. Go ahead, Rima. Please, please keep
Yeah,
up.
thank Jules. I so agree. We are lost if we don't have that connection. So, to me, true, long lasting, effective self care, it equates to the practice of self compassion. Just like taking time in my schedule for walks, for baths, I needed to make the time to connect with the internal me, my feelings, my needs, and my beliefs about myself as a mom, as a human being. In order to be the mom I truly wanted to be, I had to say, bye bye, mean girl. That mean girl inside of me she was stunting my authenticity. That awful mean girl can tell us so many terrible things about our parenting, especially when we face a struggle with our kids, when we make a mistake. We are the hardest on ourselves because that mean girl is telling us all these terrible things. And most of the time, that ultimate message that she tells us is that we are not capable, we are not worthy, we are bad, we are alone, and so many other terrible things that are not true. And this is the big reason that we feel stuck in our parenting and cannot change our ways of responding to our children authentically. So, how do we actually wave a big toodaloo to our mean girl? We need to focus on three areas to practice self compassion. And this intentional practice gives us the ability to accept all our wins as well as all our challenges, those mistakes, and then creates an openness to change as it's needed for the better. So the first step is being mindful. Like let's sit with our uncomfortable feelings rather than shooing them away. It's having this willingness to acknowledge that, you know what? I am having a hard time and that's okay. And I need help. So if we acknowledge the truth of whatever is happening for us and notice that something's not right, well, then we can't search for a solution or a better way. We need to acknowledge that change needs to happen because we don't feel right about something. So, step number two is the concept of understanding common humanity. Know that making mistakes, facing discomfort is part of being human. That's what makes us human, being able to feel all those different emotions. And excuse me, the reality is that we share common human experiences. We are not alone as moms because I can bet you mama down the road has been having the same experiences as I am, maybe under a different roof and different circumstances, but it's happening. So this gives us a connection to others because it's a fact that other moms are going through similar situations. Um, when we actually self-pity, we create isolation and disconnection, and we feel like we are only the ones struggling and have to figure it out on our own without support. This actually stops us from thriving as human beings, and it disconnects us from our truths and from others. So step number three is being kind and warm towards yourself. Like, ask yourself, how can I offer love to myself and reach out for support? Think about a friend who calls you and tells you about this terrible thing that's happened with their kid and how she responded and she's feeling, absolutely guilty about it. What would you say to her? How would you respond to her when she shares that parenting sadness or frustration with you? That's exactly what we need to do for ourselves. Talk to ourselves with love, explaining the truth, empathizing with ourselves. The more compassion you give yourself, the more resources you have to support your inner being, the more you have to give on the outside to your family and other loved ones. It makes sense. More kindness and support we can give ourselves is gives us more to give to others.
That is
Honestly,
wonderful. That
thanks.
is wonderful. I mean, I'm sitting here because it's very hard. And people are going to say, oh, she doesn't know what she's talking. That is so hard. It sounds easy but it's very hard to be gentle to yourself, to be kind to yourself, because you've had that mean girl inside you. You have to be this. You have to be above this. You have to get those A's. You have to work. You have to get married. You have to. And it's just like boom, 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 boom. I'm 49 years old and I've been dealt with that for what, 20 years? And now you're telling me it's that simple, Rima? Just be kind, accepting. You know, one of my mentors, her name is Heather Chauvin. She has a podcast that says emotionally uncomfortable. And emotionally uncomfortable is where you want to be. If you feel emotionally uncomfortable, you're in the right spot. And that's what you need to give your best attributes to yourself. So, yes, listen to what Rima is saying. It sounds simple. We know it's hard, but we're here to support you no matter how hard it is. We can be that friend you call upon. Rima is here. I'm here. Carolina is here. Many coaches are here. So we don't always have to pay thousands of dollars of therapy. All we need is someone to listen to us and then say, you know what? It's going to be okay. I've been there. I've experienced it. Go ahead, Rima. I keep taking over. Go ahead, Rima.
No, absolutely true. True, 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 Jules. So honestly, self-compassion reduces mama burnout because you stop battling with your mean girl, especially every time you feel like you've goofed up as a mom. So when we can tune into understanding and serving our needs, vocalizing them with gentleness and confidence, we actually improve our abilities to meet the needs of others without emptying our own cups that sometimes get tainted with resentment and pressure because mama mean girl is making you believe something that's actually not true. So I want you to believe that you are a good mom. Your self-worth should be intrinsic and unconditional. It shouldn't come from what others think about you or the judgments they make about your parenting. When you believe in your goodness, you desire to do the best you can and know that being a mom is about change and that growth that comes from digging deep and getting to know your authentic self. You can make relationships, serving choices based on your needs and your kids' needs and not what others think and expect of you. And you feel happier because your parenting actions will come from a place of self-love and authentic desire. Your internal worth is reaffirmed every time you make choices that feel right for you. And this is more sustainable for the lifetime of parenting. So, just last note, self compassion is unconditional, it's a vital part of self care. And yes, the focus is you. This is conscious parenting for the well being of everyone in the family. I want every mom to know that getting rid of her mean girl inside is a very doable process and will no doubt reduce parenting stress, dissatisfaction, as well as the continuous thought about when am I going to get my time for self care, which sometimes actually adds to our overall stress. And of course, you know, we need to enjoy those external features that play, but those activities have far more effectiveness and value when we get to do the internal work first. And from here, we and our children get to thrive. So let me help you evacuate your mean girl and let her know that she does not deserve to be housed in your authentic space. She does not deserve to be housed by you.
Wow. Now, if she starts paying $1,000 a month rent, we'll think about it. But if she's getting evicted, she don't pay rent up in here. So I love it. And Rima, if anyone wants to contact you, how can they get in touch with you?
Yes, please do so. I would love to connect and chat and just explore what's happening. Please reach out. My website is www.preciousparenting.com. I'm also on Instagram. What is that thing called? A handle, Rima.preciousparenting. You can tell. Social media, I just use it for messages to connect, for people to reach me. So I love face-to-face connects. Obviously, they're all virtual, but please, yeah, let's talk. If you're
That's
looking
great.
to
That's
meet,
great. And we're gonna keep inviting you back because people need to hear, people need to focus, people always turn their nose up at self-care, but then they always want to cry when they don't feel good. And that's something that is very important. So thank you, Rima, for coming back. Um, if you want to get in touch with us, you know where to get in touch with us on www.parentenhancementprogram.com/contact. And if you have any challenges reaching Rima, you can always send us a comment and we will get you connected. That is what we're here for us to connect to you, to connect to her. It's a very simple process. So I'll see you later, Rima, and I, I, I'll say, how do you say in how do you say in a different language?